John Lewis, the Democratic congressman out of Georgia, the civil rights icon, he is now requesting that the Obama administration provide federal election observers to polling stations in states where they have recently enacted restrictive voting rights laws. So in a quote, he said, "In the past few months and years, I've traveled across the country, and I know that there is a deliberate, persistent, systematic effort to make it harder and more difficult for the disabled, student, senior, minority, the poor, and rural voters to participate in the democratic process. That's not right, not fair, and it's not just." He also said, "In certain states, we should ask for federal protection, federal observers. The election could be stolen on election day at polling places."
Interesting how he's talking about, elections being stolen at polling places. But it seems as his concern is with, like, the presidential election.
Yeah, only in the presidential election.
But why is it so imperative now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That
he has to make this statement now and call on the Obama administration to take action, like, to prevent the election from being stolen.
He wants a election integrity task force.
Yes, that's exactly what. Yes, what'd you say? Election integrity task force. That's exactly what he wants in states where there are restrictive voting rights laws and stuff like that. Now, to be honest, and we presume that he's talking about the Republicans, of course, because they're the ones that enact these voter ID laws,
gerrymandering.
Exactly, that's where they do it, and that's absolutely fact. So there's no doubt that our elections do need to be protected, but do they need to be protected from the Republicans only? Or do they need to be protected from the Democrats too?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by protected, because I think, when you protect people's, voting rights, it's multi-pronged. It's not just about voter IDs per se. It's not just about gerrymandering. It's about a lot of different things. It's about making it easier for them to vote. Yeah. It's about, not spontaneously dropping them from voter rolls. Yeah. Not changing their party affiliation without them knowing. I mean,
not leaving polling stations closed when they're supposed to be open, so people can do that before they go to work.
But when did that happen?
That happened all throughout the primary in different states in the Democratic primary process. So this guy, John Lewis, the civil rights icon, who you would presume is all about equality.
Yes.
Right?
He is just overwhelmingly in support of voting rights.
Yes. And, because he fought hard for that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big part of the civil rights movement, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. So you're telling me this guy is now he's making his voice heard when a presidential election day is coming, but he was silent during the Democratic primary process.
But wait. Who did he support?
Oh, that might have something to do with it. Mm-hmm. He supported HRC, the one Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Yeah.
Oh, so why would you highlight the shit that's in your backyard that might negatively impact Hillary Clinton, right?
Exactly. And the thing, what makes this just so, it's just so, to me, phony is because he's already been proven to be a fraud. Yeah. Because he pretty much fabricated, the history of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton
and Bernie Sanders.
And he didn't fabricate. He pretty much tried to erase.
Right, you're true. That's true.
He tried to erase Bernie Sanders' history of fighting for the disenfranchised.
Right. And in the civil rights movement.
In the civil rights movement. Right. See, they used John Lewis as the, I guess, like the human eraser. Yeah. They used him as an attack dog and a human eraser. Right. Because they knew that Bernie Sanders did have a history of fighting for the disenfranchised,
and somebody so Hillary distinguished, Clinton, and somebody so distinguished like John Lewis. If it comes from John Lewis, it's like,
it must be true because we gotta do something because he looks better than Hillary on this, so we have to use him.
Right, and so he's up there saying, well, I know Hillary Clinton. I know Bill Clinton.
They're both.
I don't know this joker Bernie Sanders.
I don't know him. Never met him.
And that was obviously bullshit.
And then we saw him.
Yeah.
Taking a picture with Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. At the it was the Selma, the 50th anniversary. Look, man, this dude John Lewis, man. I appreciate all he did back in the day. You know, fighting the good fight for civil rights. I appreciate all he did. There were a lot of people fighting that fight back in the 50s, 60s, even before that. But nowadays, seems like he's just an establishment shill.
Yeah, and that's what happened to a lot of them. See, they got their butter biscuit, and now they good. They got theirs. They're sitting pretty.
That's what I'm saying, man. Because if you actually believed, if you were actually the progressive, because I think he would actually call himself a progressive. If you actually cared about equal rights and voting rights, then you would have been completely
livid.
I mean, just so annoyed by the fact that so many problems were viewable to us and to everybody during the Democratic primaries. You would have been out of your mind at this. But you choose not to focus on the shit in your backyard, and all you want to do is talk about the Republicans.
Like you said, it exposes him of being a fraud because he's so concerned about the integrity of election, of the election. But look who he supports, and he was all for the DNC rigging the primary process for her.
He's not concerned about actual equality and actual democracy and actual protecting our elections. No, he's interested in Hillary Clinton becoming president.
That's it.
And he doesn't want anything to get in the way of Hillary Clinton winning the presidency.
I don't know. Like, I guess the lowest common denominator here is he's more interested in keeping that biscuit butter.
Yeah. And you can't do that if Hillary Clinton ain't in office, right?
Exactly.
So he's going to do whatever he can, and that includes probably pretty much petitioning the Obama administration, be like, yo, look, you got to protect these the election, these votes, because like you said,
protect my butter biscuit.
Protect my damn biscuit, man.